This video is presented by EA Create Network. Thank you, EA, for providing me a copy of the pack to review. Hey hens, how we all diddly doing? How's everybody holding up? Welcome to my review of The Sims 4 Werewolves. I'm not going to give anything away yet. We're going to go through it. I'm recording this after I've already fully finished my LP with the pack, and the first episode, my hands were shaking from pure nerves. I haven't felt this nervous for a pack in a long time, so I'm guessing a lot of you probably feel that way as well, especially after the shit show that was my wedding stories. Oh, we've been through the ringer, babe. Anyway, let's jump in first off with Create a Sim. For females, we have 4 new hairs, 3 of which are variants, so I'm not going to class them as 3 new hairs because they are just variants, but they're cool nonetheless. We've also got 12 new tops, which I am a fan of all of the tops that have been included. I think that they're really fucking cute, actually, and I think that they're so very usable. Same goes for bottoms. We have 7 new bottoms for women, 6 new full outfits, which is quite a lot, and we've also got 11 new body accessories, which includes like things like nails and stuff like that, etc, etc, etc. I don't do my nails, babe. I don't even bite them. Me and my nails, we are distant relatives. And then for males, we have 2 new hairs, and then one of them is a mullet variant. I am a slag for a mullet. I do absolutely love a mullet. A man with a mullet could ruin my life. I'll just say that one, just put that one out there. Not that I'm welcoming it, but you know, if it happens, I wouldn't be shocked. We've got no new facial hair or hats. The hats, I'm like, yeah, fair enough. The facial hair, I would have liked to have seen some new facial hair with the pack. 10 new tops, which I love all of them, to be honest, especially the jumper with the little French tuck. Oh, wee wee. Are you enjoying your time in Paris? Oh, wee. We've also got 4 new bottoms. Some of these are a bit like, they're quite stylized. Thankfully for me, it does fall into my style. Like, I would wear these, and I also like to see other people wear these. So these are my style. If they're not your style, probably not going to enjoy Create a Sim. 2 full outfits, so a little bit lacking in comparison, and also 9 new body accessories. So males are still pulling the short straw. I'm sorry to this man. But they both do have 2 new eye scars, 7 new face scars, 13 new body scars, and all of these scars are really fucking cool. I was living my Rimmers Lupin life, and I think they're a really cool new addition to the game as well, and I would like to see where they can expand this, because obviously not all scars on your body are from being a werewolf, you know what I mean? Mine was from accident at a motorbike park, not because I was riding one. I tripped over. Big banana scar on my leg. Also got 3 new tattoos, which are pretty cool. One of them I couldn't really tell what it was. It's just like something on the hands. I don't know, babe, but the one on the back is really cool and is also my favorite. And then we've got one on the top part of the arm here. I don't have a tattoo in real life because I am a fanny. And then we've also got 2 new nose rings, which is basically just like the same nose ring but flipped on either side. A new pair of earrings, which are nice. Don't really wear earrings. My earlobes. This isn't about me. I'll stop saying my experience. It's the autisticness in it. I just have to relate to everything. I've also got 3 new pairs of shoes for both male and females, and these are absolutely fucking stunning. You want to live your Doc Marten dreams in The Sims 4? You can do it right here. Right here, babe. I am a Doc Marten slag. And then for children and toddler... That's my opinion! Honestly, the adult Create a Sim was so impressive to me. I was kind of sad to see it fall so short for children and toddlers. For children, we have the same hairs as the adults, which is nice. I'm very happy for that, but for both male and female. And then they both have the same 2 new tops, 1 new bottom, and 1 new hat. Scars aren't available for children, which I don't agree with. You don't just like come of age and then get a scar. Like if you have a scar in childhood, children deserve scars, right? And then for toddlers, we also have 2 new outfits, no new hat, which I was shocked at. Why don't we get the hat for toddlers? So yeah, as strong as the adult Create a Sim items were, children and toddlers do not have rights in this pack. And then we go to the werewolf form. I'm going to say this a lot in the next coming days. Flamingoland's tag is wild animals, wilder rides. And I think that should actually be the tag for The Sims 4 Werewolves, because yeah, they are wild animals, but I was on a fucking wild ride with this pack, babe. The ups and the downs. I was literally riding a roller coaster. So first off, I would just like to say that my first playthrough, I could not see the werewolves, right? They were howling, they were speaking to me, they were speaking at me, could not see them, babe. These eyes deceived me. I could not see them, and this was actually an issue that other people were having as well. There is a fix to it. The fix is at the end of the video. I will also leave the fix in the description if you do desperately want to go buy this pack. However, I'd refrain from buying this pack unless they release it fixed, because this should not be happening the day before the release. Do you know what I mean? And they're getting a bit too comfortable releasing broken things, so I'm hoping and praying on Bucky Barnes. Actually, he's not allowed near this pack. I'm hoping and praying to Remus Lupin that this pack ships fixed. If it doesn't, Then I'm going to do a video playing The Sims 4 Werewolves until it breaks. Then I did get them to work with the fix, which I shouldn't have had to do. It should have worked straight off the bat, but I did get them to work with the fix. And honestly, I've made it clear that, like, I'm not fully sold on the werewolf design of this pack. I think some people really could be. I think the thing is, it's down to such personal preference, and it's such, like, a big form and so different from, like, an actual sim, but also it looks a bit uncanny valley, that I think, like, it's a subjective thing. You might really love the werewolf form, and if you do, a G fucking G to you, babe. Like, truly wins all round for you. I was a bit scared that they'd just 100% be a fairy. Nothing against the fairy community, but obviously I would like there to be other options other than fairies as well. Not to say that being a fairy is a bad thing, just I didn't want this pack to focus around the fairy, because it's a werewolf pack, you know. But on the good side of things, some do look like fairies. They do. But when I delved into it, a lot of them don't as well. Like, it's just, honestly, it's just a personal preference on how you want to make your wolves look. And I think that because there is the option to have them scarier, there's the option to make them look more like fairies. I think that it's a win all round, you know what I mean? It's wins for the fairy community and wins for the non-fairy community. Fairy rights and everything. But I'm glad that there's the option for both as well. However, little critique. Knock, 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 who's there? It's my critiques calling. I do wish that there was a kind of middle point, however, because it's either you're very much a sim or you're very much a wolf. And I kind of do wish that there was the option to have a form of midpoint, because there does seem to be with vampires, you can be like a full-on demon, do you know what I mean? Or you can be like a more human-looking vampire. You can blend in a little bit more, where you're looking at these. I don't know how Little Red Riding Hood fell for that wolf, because I did not fall for these as humans. But there is 12 default skins to choose from, which have like a lot of different painting styles, and also there is a big variety in body size, which also again plays into, like, you can kind of just make them look however you want to make them look, and I think that was a good route to go down. And you can also paint them. We have creative style for fucking wolves and not my Sims. I mean, it's good. I'm glad that we can paint them. I'm glad. I just wish that, because we've got this type of thing in game, I wish that we could actually utilise it for actual Sims. Do you know what I mean? But great that you can paint them. Love it, love it, love it. And there's a lot of options too as well. A critique I do have about the painting, however, when you're painting dogs can kind of like do different poses, and you can maneuver dogs around to like kind of get into the nitty gritty. Werewolves don't do this, so it's quite hard to paint some places because they just stand like the emoji and you can't get out under the arm to colour. So that's a critique I have for that. So there is still limitations with the painting. And the creative sim is pretty much, in terms of clothes and accessories and everything, it's pretty much just the same. I wasn't fully sold on them wearing clothes, really. I expected them to just kind of have pants on, but I always talk about choice and options. And I do think that the Sims team delivered with this one, because obviously if you just want to have a werewolf with like shorts on, broken shorts or whatever, you can have that, but also you can have the option to dress them fully. I'm happy that they went down that route rather than just like limiting them to shorts or whatever. And also the option to actually clothe them fully and have them dressed like normal Sims. It kind of plays into the law that's included with the pack of like werewolves accepting themselves in this place that they live in now. So I think that the Sims team done a good job at the amount of choice that they give you in Create Sim. Another thing that could be fine-tuned, how much the fucking werewolves howl in Create Sim. I swear to God, it was worse when I couldn't actually see the werewolf, because I knew it was there because the fucker just kept howling at me. But when I could see the werewolf, it was also still bad. They howl way too much. Even I don't have that many words. I don't have that much steam in my throat to produce that amount of sound. And I can fucking talk, babe. Nobody's shocked. I don't think anybody's surprised at that revelation. Again, I would like to reiterate that Create Sim did not work for me at first glance. My werewolf wasn't visible. I could, if I put clothes on them, I could maneuver myself into the werewolf form, but then I was stuck in the werewolf form. And you will see this in my LP. But I am making this video under the assumption that this will be fixed upon launch. But if it's not fixed upon launch, I don't recommend you buy this pack until they release a fix for that, because you absolutely deserve to spend your money on something that works. And it shouldn't be normalised that a pack can be released broke with the attitude of, we'll just patch that later. I do think that they should have been released fixed. And honestly, the Create Sim was so strong, it was quite disappointing to actually get into Create Sim and see that it didn't work, because all the other aspects of it were good. Until I saw that we got no new traits, and it's always disappointing for me to go into Create Sim and find that we've got new traits, because that's how I personally find that I define my sim. I'm very much like, I will make drama happen in my game, but I'm also very much a passive player. I like my Sim's personality to kind of dictate how my Sims live. And when there's no new traits, it's kind of difficult to get into that, because I have to give them traits that could kind of allude to like being a werewolf. We also have one new aspiration, which at first glance I was disappointed at, but I'm 75% sold sold on this new type of aspiration. So, like I just said, it is a new type of aspiration. It's one main aspiration, and then within that, it leads to other types of aspirations. So you can complete this basis, and then it'll lead you on to another part of it. And we'll delve into these more in gameplay, so I won't go like fully in on it yet. My final thoughts for Create Sim. Honestly, it is pretty hard to impress me with Create Sim because I do believe like that Create Sim items can just be downloaded for free. And they're really good quality. Do I believe that CC creators and modders are the backbone of this community? You bet your fucking bottom dollar, I'd say bitch. Also, rip to console players. Genuinely, I do feel so bad that you don't have access to CC and mod because you are kind of relying on Create Sim. But I did actually really enjoy the items that were included with this pack. They are very unique, but also they do really sell the theme. But what stuck out to me is that I could see these items as being items that I actually actively search out going forward for my Sims, not just like when they're in a werewolf form, just day-to-day gameplay. I know that I will gravitate towards these items a lot outside of just the context of playing The Sims 4 Werewolves. It's a very solid, cohesive theme throughout, but also they're just great pieces. And they're also very in style and like on trend to actual current trends in real life, whilst also fitting with the pack. I think that the Sims team found a nice like way to bridge what's fashionable and like what could be included in Werewolves, and I think they got that pretty much perfectly. But Create Sim, once again, does fall short for toddlers and children. We do need to contact Childline about this. They are definitely lacking, as well as the traits or lack thereof. Just want my Sims to have fucking personality back. Now for Build Buy, there are a lot of items included in Build Buy, and honestly the vibe of it all I really do fuck with. Like again, similar with Create Sim, I will find myself actively gravitating towards these items. If you haven't already guessed it, I'm a huge fan of the occult, so naturally I'm drawn out to things like this and things that kind of have the spooky vibes. And if you don't like things that look like they belong in Halloween Town, you probably, it's not going to be the Build Buy category for you. But also there's just a lot of really fucking cool items as well. It's reminiscent of vampires, but obviously like made to fit the werewolf aesthetic. And there are some objects that are a bit more out there, like a desk that has a door for a tabletop. It's still so fantastically usable, and I'm genuinely so in love with all of the pieces because they all tie to the moon as well. There's all like moon links. There's so much lore within the objects, but it provides enough as well where you could have a proper disheveled werewolf space. But also I find that the Build Buy objects really actually tap into something that hasn't been explored that much so far in The Sims 4, and that's cheap looking furniture. One of the most unrealistic things about The Sims 4 for me is that every bit of furniture is, well, not every, okay, there is some disheveled furniture, but that there's so many Tory looking pieces. We just don't have any like hodgepodge pieces, and I find it so unrealistic that if I was going to start a rags to riches challenge, that I would have a perfectly constructed desk and stuff like that. Or even just, you know, objects in real life that have wear and tear, do you know what I mean? The dining table has a book underneath it to kind of like prop the leg up, you know, when the table shakes and you have to put something underneath it. And I find it really real, and I really enjoyed the Build Buy. The themes in the Build Buy and Create Sim are honestly chef's kiss. However, I feel like I give you such good news just to be like, I took a shit on it. This isn't necessarily like a full drawback, but there are a lot of cool decorational items that are hidden behind bb.show hidden objects and bb.show live edit objects. There's so many trees, grass and rocks and that we just can't have without cheats, and also so many decorational items. Like I was talking about earlier with the kind of disheveled vibes. It would be so cool if we had decorational objects that are included behind the cheats. Like there's an oven that's got its door ripped off, same goes for a fridge. There's wood, timber that you can place about the lot, disused cars, and they all sell the theme so much, but they're limited behind a cheat wall. I'm not too sure if this is just because this pack had a quarter of the amount of items that you can reach, and anything beyond that might just go into debug. I don't know. If the Sims team are watching this, I would really like these to be released and like put into the actual Build Buy catalogue. Even, I'm not even asked about them being usable, just even as decorational pieces, because I think there's so many cool objects in there. It's got like a really heavy debug menu, like it's really thick. She's thick, not like me, my flat ass. So Moonwood Mill is the town that comes with this pack, and when you're in the world selection, it does come with a hurrah with a little werewolf's claw coming out of it. And the theme of this is that it was once home to a lumber mill, but has been taken over by the werewolves. And the theme of it is very tight. A lot of it around the town is repurposed, and it is still very heavy on that lumber theme. And it's throughout the world that this theme is strong as well. There are 5 new lots, pretty small. 3 are residential and 2 are communal. One is a bar, and then the other is a library that also kind of doubles as a gym. And the sizes, because I know people are asked about, that's not a euphemism, me saying that people are asked about sizes. I genuinely mean, from a building standpoint, people are interested in sizes. The size of 30 by 30, 50 by 40, there's two 40 by 30s and one is 20 by 15. So it is a small world, but there are a lot of variation in the lot sizes, which is a good thing, I think, because it gives you a lot of things to do. Do you know what I mean? It's not just one world where every lot is the same amount of size. You know how I feel about small worlds? I'm not fully sold on them because I feel like they're just not that usable. So it feels like an almost forgotten part of The Sims 4, for me at least. But when I compare it to Forgotten Hollow, which shipped with vampires, Moonwood Mill does feel a lot bigger because Forgotten Hollow, it's a stunning world, but it feels very static and there's not much to do. Whereas Moonwood Mill actually feels alive. I feel like with this, the Sims team kind of remembered that the world around them, despite the fact it's a set, it can actually be really usable. So there are a lot of collectibles and harvestables and fishing spots around the world. It's visually stunning. Every part of the world that I encountered, I was just like, oh, wow, she's really good. And also, they kind of utilised the fact that it was a set. So an interesting thing about the world is the tunnels, and they're a learned skill. Like, they're not just open to you straight away, you've got to kind of go down them. It is through a rabbit hole with pop-ups, but you can uncover lore and objects in these areas, and then you can uncover different ways to navigate the tunnels. And then once you find that exit, you can then fast travel between the tunnels. Now, this is all on one set because it's only a world with 5 lots, so you wouldn't have to sit through a loading screen anyway to get to the other part of the map, but it's basically just like teleporting. So it's a pretty cool addition. And also you can go to the new Howling Point as well, which doesn't really have that much to do up there. There is a new harvestable, which does feel cool, and you can howl on top of there, and it is pretty cool. There's not much to do, but she looks cool. And I feel like that sentence is a very good summary of The Sims 4 and everything that's been released so far. There's also Lundvik Lake, which has the new lunar fish in it as well, and under a full moon this lake glistens, and I think she's quite pretty, and you can also swim in it as well. Within the world, there's also the 2 main bases for the 2 werewolf camps, which is Moonwood Collective, whose members are expected to be tactful, prudent and diplomatic, and then Wildfangs, which basically the fucking opposite, babe. They're a scrappy, free-spirited group of werewolves that believe being a werewolf is the best gift that life could have gave them. And then each werewolf pack also has its own lore, which I do go into all of this really heavy with the entire history of that's coming out. I couldn't do justice in this video, so it's getting its own video because there is an actual lot of lore. I'm greatly impressed, and it ties into a lot of the other lore about the occult as well. Like, it's a very solid theme of lore throughout. G fucking G, the Sims team. You did your research, babe. But the 2 packs actually tie into the lore of the resident family that live here. It's the only playable resident family as well. The Volkovs. Christopher Volkov has been around longer than most can remember. He founded and leads the Moonwood Collective and is eager to take in any werewolf feeling displaced or lost. Lily joined the household long ago, a lonely wanderer who had lost her closest friends to the vampires. After her came Rory, then Jacob. Though Rory's relationship with her adoptive father has soured, Jacob and Christopher's connection has flourished. Both bear the same calm yet intense soul, and everyone in Moonwood Mill knows Christopher intends for Jacob to be the heir to his pack. Moonwood Collective that Christopher runs is basically all about being an empathetic werewolf and spreading the good word about being a werewolf, where Wildfangs is basically, fuck that, if I've got fangs, I'm gonna bite you, babe. This Simmer gave me these fangs and I'm not afraid to use them. They may potentially bite you and they may potentially be proud of it. I lie. And their bases also do kind of reflect this. So Moonwood Collective is very like boho, whereas the Wildfangs is kind of like leaning more into the industrial, rebellious kind of things. Criticism that I do have of this, again, coming back here to rain your parade, back once again for the Renegade Master. You can't make your own pack, and this is such a missed opportunity because the framework for this already exists within the game with get together, like you can make your own clubs. So I don't know why they didn't include it. The only thing I can think of is like limitations because it is a game pack and not an expansion pack. I think if it was an expansion pack, this would have been included, but still, it is a little bit, oh, that would have been so cool. But the lore about the 2 packs is pretty cool, and it is a strong theme. But another critique is that the werewolf bases are also rabbit holes, and I really would have liked to have seen them be an actual place that you can chill with them. You can chill outside, and there is like interactions that you can have with the bases, like you can donate things and use the facilities, go piss girl and stuff like that, and you can also use it to summon other werewolves over here. I would have liked to have seen it be like an actual base, but you can chill outside of it, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. So You want to become a werewolf, do you? Literally Fenrir to Remus Lupin when he was a child, lol. There are multiple ways to become a werewolf. One is obviously by create one and create a sim. Another is being bit by a werewolf. And if you do get bit or come in contact with werebees, which is the new illness, you can reject it. You can reject being infected by it. You can literally, I do not claim this energy. Not with a pop-up or anything, not with like, do you want to cancel becoming a werewolf? But by literally shitting it out and sweating it out on the treadmill, which that was a nice touch. So much of The Sims 4 is just operated through pop-ups and menus. Like, it's nice to have like an active gameplay mechanic. Also, you can become a werewolf by hereditary. Werewolves can also have werewolf children. But another cool addition about this pack is that the werewolf trait doesn't always come out. Like, you can have a dormant werewolf trait. If you do have a dormant werewolf child, if you swim in the glittering Lundvik Lake under a full moon, then it will activate the werewolf. Yeah, that was a cool choice. I wouldn't have never even thought of like dormant werewolf traits, but that's pretty cool. Once you are actually a werewolf, you have multiple options of what you can do and go down, which brings us back to the new aspiration. So it starts off becoming a werewolf initiative where you have 4 tasks, which is become a werewolf, level up to runt, experience a full moon, and read werewolf books. The werewolf books is an important thing to note with this because it's not like the vampire tomes where it's like actual books you can buy that, you know, it's kind of like a skill book. It's not that. It's like the Diary of Gregorius Lundvik, is that his last name? So sorry, Gregory, I may have forgot your last name. Greg can also be seen running about the town. He's a little bit, he's been hurt. He needs therapy, God bless him. And there's also like a starting guide that you can read. But these give bits of lore off within them, which is a pretty cool touch. I really like how the information was given this time. It was difficult for me to get my head around in the LP because I'm so used to like just picking up a skill book and reading it. And also, experience a full moon. There is also now a lunar cycle, which is customizable in the options. Very good to know. And each phase of the moon brings benefits or like opposite reactions. If you have increased relationship levels, then that means like both good and bad. Once you've mastered the first part of the werewolf aspiration, you can then choose between 4. That was 3. 4. And this is kind of where the new aspiration comes into play. So instead of it being like a, you know, usual aspirations, you have to level up 4 times, so different things. It kind of just has 2. The lone wolf aspiration, which has level up to apex, unleash the beast, which is by scratching or smashing objects, snarling, intimidating, and viciously howling at Sims, sparring with werewolves, defeating Greg in a werewolf brawl. Greg is who we mentioned earlier. He's a very lone wolf who has a very, very rich history, God bless him. Trauma. The other one is a mystery of the collective, which is join the Moonwood Collective, socialise with werewolf friends, be a good werewolf ambassador by using werewolf empathy, regaining control during rampages, and spreading good word about the werewolves, literally creating werewolf allies. Talk, Valentina, ally! And then also become alpha of the Moonwood Collective, so basically become the leader. And then similarly, opposite to the Moonwood Collective, we have the Wild Fang aspiration, which is join the Wild Fangs, turn Sims into werewolves. Werewolf world domination, which honestly was a bit cooler than it sounded. When I first read this, I was like, yes, I'm going to be changing every single sim into a fucking werewolf. But no, it was basically just go piss girl and mark your territory everywhere, and also become alpha of the Wild Fangs. And then finally, the other aspiration route that you can go down is to become a cure seeker, which obviously is about finding a cure to becoming a werewolf. It has Harvest Moon Petal, which is the new Harvestival. It only blooms under a full moon, just like me. Also collect Wolfsbane, craft Wolf Begone, which I'm not going to explain that one to you. I think we can connect the 2 dots. And finally, drink the cure. I do like these aspirations because some parts of it are a bit of a long game. Like this part that are easy and can be finished fast. Like if you just piss 25 times, that's one ticked off. But also some take a lot of work to get there. For example, like becoming the alpha of the Wild Fangs involved me maxing out one part of my werewolf skill set to the highest so I could challenge the alpha and win. I'm very against aspirations that are actually just tutorials, and I did feel that a little bit with this aspiration. Like there is definitely vibes of that just being a tutorial of how to lead you with the pack, but it also kind of delved deeper than that, and I'm very happy they didn't just go with the good werewolf versus bad werewolf vibe, and there was variations with what you could do. If you are a cure seeker or a lone wolf, you can also still join either of the 2 packs as well, so there is a lot of options that you can go down. So, speaking of the 2 packs, when you do decide what pack you want to join, it's genuinely not as easy as just clicking and choosing. I was kind of shocked by the work that I had to put into it. It was a good thing, honestly. You have to become friends with the pack leader, and then, on top of that, you also have to then ask them to join, and if they say yeah, then you have to then further on from that complete trials to join. It can range from demonstrating a pack howl, giving excellent food, or rare collectible, or werewolf sparring with the leader. I think there's 3 that you have to complete, but there's like more than 3 that you can. Like There's an option for like 6 or 7, but you only have to complete 3 of them. So once you completed that successfully, only then can you become part of the pack. But you have to work towards them. Like, you can't just do them instantly. Not all of them are unlocked instantly. So yeah, it was nice to have like a little bit of challenge going in. I've really welcomed that, actually. And then once you are in, it's not just a wham bam thank you ma'am. Like, you can level up within the packs and you have certain responsibilities to do. If you join the Wild Fangs, you can level up by participating in the pack, by maintaining good relationships with other werewolves, expanding and exploring, like exploring the world through the tunnels, marking your territory, and also self-improvement by basically learning everything about being a werewolf and increasing your werewolf skills. And then for the Moonwood collectives, you can rank up the packs by pack participation, diplomacy, using empathy, using the will to resist, and also trying to get through with Greg. God fucking bless Greg. And self-sufficiency, like guarding, hunting for your food, and not devouring objects in front of other Sims. And there is lots of different levels within that. And then also, to become the alpha for both, it's not just an automatic. And the alpha, you have to actually defeat the current alpha, which is hard. Like, I did try this a couple of times, so it wasn't successful, and I had to max out my skill, like I said, in the skill tree to just be able to become the alpha. There is now a new werewolf UI with a fury meter at the top. I did read this as a furry meter at first. Lol. Fury envelops werewolves like a beautiful glamping blanket. Whoever writes for the Sims team needs to be fucking hair eyes. As fury grows, their animalistic instincts begin to manifest and will eventually take over. Fury gain is constant and is hastened by temperaments, preferences, werewolf abilities, and the full moon. So some things can trigger a fury easily than others. And it's also different for every werewolf as well. Like, all werewolves' furies will increase. At the bottom as well, it does also show your current rank and then the next rank available to you, and it also shows how many ability points that you have, and you earn ability points by moving up the ranks. You move up the ranks by doing werewolf type things. We've kind of already covered it. And the panks are Pup, Runt, Prime, Veteran, and Apex. The ability points also take you in a pop-up menu that has kind of like a skill tree. It has unlockable abilities, which we will get into, but also dormant abilities. These are available at any level and they don't require you to spend any points. You just have to complete the task. So these abilities are Werewolf Empathy, Lunar Epiphany, Werewolf Mentorship, Werewolf Menace, so you can enjoy scaring Sims and feeling no guilt about it, and Werewolf Diplomacy, so you can use diplomacy to win over werewolf allies. Valentina, that joke will never not be funny to me. And then also Transformation Mastery, which lets you transform at will. And then there's also 25 perks that you can get as a werewolf through this skill tree. And I'm not going to do an exhaustive list of them because there's 25 of them, but the range from becoming immortal, casual, as you do, very Edward Cullen, every bestie. Also increasing your scavenging abilities. The option to self-groom, protection from the moon's harmful effects, group hunting, also the ability to sleep anywhere on the floor at any time. Obviously, these give you options in game to explore, but what you choose also impacts your sim and your sim's need and what fills up that view rebar. For example, one of my sims has must be clean, carnivore, and only eats raw meat. Also is an anti-capitalist canine, which I feel like they put that in just for me. And also wolf brain, which actually really pisses me off because whenever my sims read a book, even though they're a bookworm, they enter a fury zone and turn into a werewolf and I can't control them. So it's like, it feels so fucking good, honestly. Like, it was actually a really welcome part of it. Even though it pissed me off, it felt so fucking good to be pissed off by a game mechanic actually impacting my game and not pissed off by a game mechanic because it was broken. It's not 100% easy to play as a werewolf, and also these things are different for each sim as well, because my other werewolf sim didn't have any of these. They had different things. As well as what you pick changes what makes your fury rise. Also, obviously, it also unlocks more things that you can do as playing just as a sim outside of your needs, like actual actions that you can do. For example, my sim can self-groom, mark territory, nap anywhere, smell places, scavenge, and these all have to be unlocked, so you can't just do them instantly, which was nice. I was a bit confused at first. I was like, well, there's fuck all to do, but it turns out you better work, bitch. And also scavenging is really fun. I really like the addition of scavenging. I've found a lot of shit, but also I found a diamond, which beautiful. Also, if you howl as well, you can hear other wolves howling around too as well, but yeah. And something that's quite cool as well is the whole master and transform thing. So obviously, if your fury rises high, you become werewolf form. If the full moon is out, you become werewolf form. But you also have the option to master transforming, and it isn't limited to the full moon. Pretty nice touch. And then let's talk about rampages. Rampages. So like I said, different things can affect your fury, and also you will go on a rampage during the full moon. And this basically means that your sim is kind of not controllable. There's still some things that you can do, some very animalistic things, like at the root of it, like full-on werewolf brain. So you can still scratch things, you can scavenge and stuff like that, but your sim kind of just fucking goes off on one on its own. Like, it's fully just, they control themselves, they don't just stand about, like they fully make themselves usable for the entire time that they're under that fucking fury. The rampage page it can be annoying at times because you're like, I just want to read this fucking book and it's sending you into a fury, but you love books, babe. It's a juxtaposition of it. I really liked the addition of it, even though it was annoying at times. I really liked it. You also get a red glow around you, which I absolutely fucking loved, but also you can turn this off if you don't like the red glow. You can also interact with other werewolves, obviously, so you have certain things that you can do, like share your experiences, challenge for tug of war, sparring, and go for hunts together if you have that ability unlocked, as well as like pack howls and everything. And then with human sims, you can interact with them, so you can ferociously intimidate them, use your diplomacy skills to make them a werewolf ally. You can also discuss being a werewolf or give them the cursed bite, which was fantastic, but you can't bite children. They're bitch. What I didn't expect was instant hatred of vampires and werewolves, and they have a deep root hatred for each other. I tried to shag Caleb Vitar, and that lad fucking hates me. It was on sight. It was on sight. Even though this is like fully entrenched in the law, I kind of didn't expect it because you know how Sims 4 Sims are. They can fucking hate each other, but then they'll be like, but Harry Galushnar for having a thingy. They just get on, even though they apparently hate each other. But the hatred is kind of strong here. Like Caleb Vitar, he would not have me flirting with him. You can also have a supernatural showdown with them, which is fucking cool. The music is 10 out of 10, chef's kiss. And then for the interactions with spellcasters, I didn't really see much, but also that's kind of got a lot to do with the law. And there's also a wand that you can find in the tunnels because werewolves stem from spellcasters. I wish I could say more about the wand, but I couldn't actually find it myself in the tunnel. I could only find it through debug, so I couldn't actually use it. But yeah, there is a link between werewolves and spellcasters. Something that I was quite disappointed about though is there's no new interactions with pets, and it seems like this would be the perfect thing to include, or at least form a bond over. In fact, I'm that surprised that I also wouldn't be shocked if it did actually exist and it was included and I've just 100% missed it. The only new interaction that I found is if you howl around pets, then pets will also howl with you, but you can't howl at them. All in all, I'm going to rate Create a Sim 6 out of 10. Great items, but lacking in traits and toddlers and children's clothes. However, if the glitch isn't fixed on release, I would rate this 1 out of 10. The world, I'm also going to rate a 6 out of 10. Solid theme, lore is fleshed out, there is lots to do around the world. But even though there is a lot to do around the world and it's better than the vampire world, it is definitely small. And then build by, I'm going to rate 8 out of 10. Lots of objects, fantastic theme, includes lots of things for toddlers and kids, and there are some really unique items. The uniqueness isn't a drawback because I could also see them used in a context outside of the pack. Gameplay, 8 out of 10. Fleshed out and enjoyable, definitely challenging aspects. The addition of werewolf packs was a really nice touch. Would have rated it higher if you could make your own packs, but these are, in my opinion, the best werewolves we've had so far in the franchise. However, once again, if the glitch doesn't fix upon release, I would rate the gameplay 3 out of 10. It's good, but it's shit if you can't see werewolf. And then value for money, I'm going to rate 5.5 to 6 out of 10. It's £17.99 for the pack and it focuses on one occult, whereas Sims 3 Supernatural you could buy for £29.99 and it focuses on 3 cults. However, I do find these a lot more fleshed out than the werewolves in The Sims 3, and it's also definitely better value for money than vampires. Vampires were my favourite occult before this, and now it is werewolves. However, once again, if the glitch isn't fixed, then I would rate value for money 1 out of 10. Overall rating is 6.8 out of 10 if the glitches are fixed. You shouldn't have to jump through loops to get it to work. The money that you spend deserves to be spent on a pack that works on release. So that's my review. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for joining me here today. I do have an entire LP already filmed, so that'll be coming. I also have an entire history of and some builds coming, and another couple of videos as well. So yes, thank you all very, very much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you, Ia, for providing me a copy of this pack to review, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, bitch.